Welcome to AlgoExpertise. Today's video will not be an introduction to algorithms or a walkthrough of a boring course. Rather, I'll take you through a learning platform, educative.io. Is it good? Is it worth your time? Whatever questions you have right now, I'm sure you'll have a much better idea about Educative by the end of this video. Let's not stray any further, and we'll quickly jump into Educative and see what is it about and how we can get experience on it by performing some hands-on operations. Now I've just logged into my account at Educative. By the way, I'm using a free account right now. We'll see what types of account Educative has, but for now, all you can think of it is that I'm using a free account. All right, so you can see how simple the UI is. It's clean, it's neat, it's welcoming me back to the platform because I've used this before. The simple toggle to open and close the sidebar. It has a few options. We'll see what each of these are. If I scroll down below, there are 3 categories available to me, some courses perhaps, and this is the footer, which I'll probably not be covering for now. But let's get to this part. What is it about? From the get-go, Educative tries to give me an option as to what I'd like to do on Educative. Maybe I wish to be a developer. Maybe I wish to program or learn some programming language, or maybe challenge on some problems. Maybe that is what Educative provides. Maybe I wish to hone my skills as a developer. Maybe I'm practicing JavaScript, let's say, and I wish to see what types of programs can I write in Node.js that are going to make me an excellent developer or make me solve problems which are going to be used or which are actually found in real life. Maybe I just wish to hone my skills for my CV. That is what the second option is about, grow my skill set. And lastly, maybe I wish to just prepare for an interview. Let's say you have an interview tomorrow and you are dreading on what you should be learning right now. Educative provides you a simple and easy to go method on how you can prepare for these interviews or how to become a developer or how to grow your skill sets. We'll see each of these options in detail again. But let's take a quick break and see what one of these options is about. Now, based on whatever I want, Educative does some mind-numbing work at the back and then presents relevant courses from each of these categories to me. And let's say I wish to be a developer. Hey, let's hide that detail from Educative for now. Let's not tell them I'm a developer already. Now, what I'll do is I'll just scroll down below and select Become a Developer. And once I do that, you see how quickly it loads out a list of programming languages that I'd like to learn or become a developer in. See, if you've seen my previous video, you know how important it is to select a programming language before I can jump into actually learning programming or any of its concepts. So, do you have a programming language preference? Well, I wish to choose Python here. If you're not sure what programming language you'd like to select or what is the trendiest programming language, just know JavaScript is the best in terms of web engineering. Python is the best for machine learning engineers. Java is the best for backend systems. CSS, HTML are the core of designing web pages on the internet, and data science are more intensive to data and statistics. And finally, PHP, which also serves as a backend language. You can learn more about these by Googling them. But for now, let's say I select Python, which is one of the top most rated programming languages right now in 2020. So if I do that, let's see where we are led to. All right, so it says become a Python developer. Now, if I just scroll down below, all right, so I can see that there are a few courses here which are recommended to me. So I can take a look at these 4 courses on Python, and all right, so I see some of them are free with $0, some of them are paid for $11, $15, and $19. All right, and now if I take a look at this bottom section in the bottom left, you can see there's a difficulty level mentioned. It's beginner, and this is an intermediate course. So before you quickly actually jump into a course, you can find out the actual difficulty level of it and only then jump into it if you feel comfortable with it. That is awesome. So, I mean, I've seen many platforms who just recommend courses to you without actually knowing your experience level. If you're a beginner and you actually jump into the intermediate course, you'll quickly find yourselves just stuck. There's no other word for it. You'll just be stuck. You will not know how to move forward or what to learn or how to actually be productive. So basically what you have to do is you have to start off from the beginner courses. So what I will do is I'll quickly open this up for the preview and let's see what it's about. So the course, I believe, all right. So it isn't just videos or lecture content. Rather, it's quizzes, it's challenges, it's playgrounds, and we'll see what those are, and some code snippets. That's awesome. So let's open up the course preview content and explore it a bit more. All right, so here it is, the preview content. All right, so like I said, I'm on the free account right now, right? So only a few videos or sections are available to me, but you can have a look at the complete index for it, for the course. So it's an introduction, data types and variables, condition statements, functions, and loops, and data structures, and libraries, and finally the appendix. And all of that is available for $8.31 per month. And that is quite cheap if you ask me. Why? Well, you have to take a look at the course content itself. I mean, the actual content, the lesson content. And let's have a look at it now, shall we? So, for the free preview, I'll quickly have a look at one of the videos. Actually, let's open this, the else if statement. What is it? What are else if statements? So let's see what we'll cover here. We'll cover the structure, the benefits, and what are conditional expressions. So it starts off with the basics of what else if structures are, and then it finally decides to explain the structure, some graphical content here I see, some more explanation to, there's a coding example. How awesome is that? Most coding platforms actually do not mention coding examples themselves, and you'd have to run an assembler yourselves. And that is quite hectic, and although for a beginner actually. Now let's run this code on the web and see if we can get an output. All right, I can see some output here. That is awesome. So this is, I believe, is the in-page, actually in-web page coding environment. This is pretty awesome. Now I can run code in it, and I can get an output live in front of me. So there's some benefits of if-else structures and some conditional expressions. I believe these are actually taken from real life, which is pretty awesome again. So I think that's it for this particular section. So one of the key features here is the amazing coding environment. You do not have to set up an assembler, and you can quickly get started with Python if you're in a hurry or if you're just a beginner. And you do not care if you have to set the assembler or what is it about, or you just wish to learn or maybe see if Python is actually the language for you. That is the greatest thing. Now let's quickly shift back our attention to the explore section. All right, I see there's some learning tracks here. What are learning tracks? Let's say you wish to become a developer again. You are deciding to become a developer, but all right. So one of your friends suggested maybe, hey, maybe you should just learn React, and maybe you should become a front-end web developer. All right, is learning React that easy? Can you get started on React right away? How do you know? Do you know what is required to learn React? Well, not all of us have a proper path. We are almost often lost while we're starting programming. And learning tracks on Educative are made to enhance this learning experience. So you have a direction when you start learning or studying a particular topic. For example, going through React again. Let's have a look at this. Oh, I see there's some React for front-end developers. Let's quickly take a look at this learning track and see what it provides to us. All right, so there are 6 courses I can see here. So the pricing and so on. So there's some examples. Ooh, if I scroll down below, you can have a look that these 6 courses are actually mentioned in terms of a particular timeline, but I have to follow them in an order in order to get the most knowledge out of them. And now again, I can see these are actually all right. So there's not in terms of the difficulty, but in terms of the concepts which are explained in them. All right. So I can see we are going to create some web apps with global state. And although I know what global state is, you'll probably have to take a look at React and pattern for that, or maybe do the one with hooks. This is one of the latest topics, by the way, in React, which is also one of the most famous programming languages in the world right now. It is developed by Facebook, actually. So, all right, so that is it for the learning tracks. We can see more learning tracks here. So maybe you want to become a system design developer. Maybe you are again looking for a React. Maybe you're into DevOps. Maybe you wish to become a machine learning engineer. Or we can see and have a look at more, for example, Python for programmers. That interests me. And let's have a look at what some content is. All right, so full speed Python, Python 2.01, object-oriented programming, and data structures and algorithms. This is quite awesome. So I can have a look at my courses here. Let's see if I have some loaded here. All right, so I can actually explore either a made course or maybe I can create a course myself. I believe that is the create option here. You can even create your own courses. That is great. Now, then there's Espresso. What is espresso? So often, while you're studying, you'll have questions in your mind that you'd like quick answers to, and maybe you'd like assistance from other developers. Espresso is the go-to forum for that particular type of questions. This section has bite-sized information on easy to hard questions. By the way, that bite-sized sentence was pun intended. But let's get back to the topic. So, for example, you have a question like, how can you use malloc in C or C++ in order to allocate some memory? Or maybe you'd have a question like, what's the list in Java? Or maybe you wish to know how you can generate some random numbers in Java. All that, and you can get even more answers to your questions here on Espresso. It's like it says, it's a shot of developer knowledge. Now let's scroll down below. All right, so here I can see what is a list in Java. And let's see what it actually explains here. All right, in Java, list interface is an ordered collection of objects in which duplicate values can be stored. Awesome. It can be implemented the following ways. There's a graphical explanation. Oh, we haven't had a coding example. That's pretty great. So this is a syntax which you'd be using in order to actually initialize a list in Java. Great. Maybe you have other questions like what are enums in Java? What is a do-while loop in Java? What is a React router? And so on and so forth. So Espresso is basically your go-to platform or your go-to forum in Educative itself in order for you to learn about short questions and their answers. Now I'll just get back to Educative actually. All right, so now we've seen most of what Educative is comprised of. Now let's head back to the initial page where we were. All right, we've explored how we can become a developer. Now, secondly, what I want to do is I want to see what options will Educative be offering if I wish to grow my skill set. All right, so it's programming languages again. Maybe I wish to grow my skill set in Python, JavaScript, Go. Ooh, this is quite interesting. This is actually one of the most famous programming languages. These are actually I'm saying famous programming languages for many programming languages here, but what I actually refer to is these are actually the top 10 programming languages in 2020, which are actually selected by developers all over the world. So you can see some of these programming languages are here. Kubernetes is actually is a DevOps concept. You can have a look at it if you are interested in it. Machine learning, Firebase. Ooh, this is an excellent solution on cloud storage and real-time databases and notifications and so on, which is also produced by Google itself. There's some GraphQL, etc. So I'd take a look at Python again. So let's see what it offers. All right, so there's some learning tracks, and then there are individual courses which I can take in order to learn more about Python. I can have a look at more courses. All right, this is it. This is great. I'm quite interested in it. Now, let's take a look at the final option. Let's see if we can. All right, here it is. All right. Now, what if I want to prepare for an interview? Let's click on that. Now, although interviewers do not often have a preference on programming languages, it's still better for you to implement and try to practice your coding skills in a particular programming language. Often they'll be asking you to write a pseudocode. For example, just write a program which implements the merge sort. What is it? How is it used? That is actually not dependent on any programming language. You can write any code that actually makes sense and is actually a merge sort. But let's not stray further from the topic. Let's say you wish to learn algorithms and not particularly a programming language itself. What you can do is you can just have a look at how you can prepare for algorithm interview questions. All right, so I can see there are actually two courses here. Let's have a look at this. This is an intermediate course on how algorithms for coding interviews in C++. All right, so it has lessons, quizzes, challenges, playground snippets again. I can take a look at the content. This is part of, I believe, a learning track. Yes, it is. It is part of the C++ coding interview. And let's get back to content, right? All right, so I can see there's some complexity measures. This is pretty great. Some sorting and searching. Ooh, here's a merge sort, which I was talking about earlier. And you'd be having a look at and taking a look at it here in this section as well. And similarly, you have some graph algorithms. Then you have some greedy algorithms, dynamic programming, more sections, so on. And this is a conclusion. Now, Let's take a look at the free preview. All right, so I can see there's some challenges here actually. Now, what are challenges? We saw actually that this particular track had 51 challenges inside. So let's see. Let's take a look at group anagrams. What is this challenge about? All right. So there's a problem statement. So they're going to show you what you have to do in order to successfully complete this challenge. There's going to be an input, which in this case is an array of strings, and then they define a particular output. So the sample input is given to you here, the sample output is given to you here, and here's the coding exercise. You have to take a look first, like it says, first take a close look and design a step-by-step algorithm, then jump on to implementation. The problem is designed for your practice. Practice makes you perfect, and you have to do a lots of practice in order to become or actually ace your coding interviews by actually a great measure. So you can actually write your code here. I'll actually see what I can write here. Let's see if I can actually print out a sentence here. I believe the syntax was pref. Well, I believe this is C++ actually, and I cannot write the code in here. But what we'll do for this section is we'll see if we can actually show the solution. I'll be cheating by showing you the solution, but let's take a look and see what it provides. Oh, I see this. They have solutions, and see how beautifully partitioned it is. This is into functions, divided into functions. This is a second function, partition, and there's a for loop, if loop, if condition statement, which we discussed earlier. There's another function here, quick sort. There's some vectors, some maps, and finally the output is being returned. So this isn't easy, but obviously they'll be preparing for all this information and how you will be able to solve this challenge yourselves. So don't peek at the solution, guys. Try and implement those yourselves, and you'll have much better luck at becoming an excellent developer and acing your coding interviews. Now, what we'll do is let's see some other section. I've actually opened this up on how we can learn Dart. There's another course on it. This is the first step to Flutter. Dart is a necessary pre-requirement in order to learn Flutter, which is a cross-platform development language. And this challenge, again, we have to display some sort of text. The text is provided. This is a movie code. If your code does not match, what you have to do is you just simply have to print your code on the coding environment that is presented to you down here. You can start writing a code here, and you can finally test it out and see if your answer is correct or not. And see, we can see that there's 0 out of 1 test pass because I actually did not write any code in here. So you'll be testing that out and see if it works or not. So now we can see the solution review in the next section, but that is it. Now, so that is most of what Educative is all about. It's courses which are part of learning tracks. Learning tracks are going to help you enhance your learning experience. They're going to group particular courses into one giant section, and then once you've completed that, you can say that you are a master or you are actually good in that particular language or that particular concept. For example, cloud, Kubernetes, a language like Python, JavaScript, and so on. Now, if you talk about Educative, I've actually taken a few courses on this platform, and there are few personal favorite courses that I'd like to discuss here. One of them is the big annotation. Now, for coding interviews, what interviewers look for in developers is how are you going to solve a particular problem, and how optimized is it. So you're going to have an experience into advanced analysis topics. You're going to see how you're going to calculate complexities again, and then you're going to have to actually optimize your algorithms to be the best version of themselves. Because obviously, once you've tried to implement an algorithm in a particular application, clients would want them to be optimized, to be fast, to be so optimized that they do not actually feel that it is actually a program offering them results, but a person who has memorized all those results. Actually, this is a beginner level course, by the way. So if you have had problems learning big annotation for coding interviews, this is the best course on algorithmic complexities on the internet. Secondly, this course, we have actually seen this before, but again, algorithms for coding interviews in C++. This is my second best course, which I'd recommend to my students and to others all over the web, because C++ is actually the core language which deals with systems and their development and their programming. So this language has built-in support for algorithms in the best possible manner. Python and the likes and such high-level languages actually provide you libraries which you can directly use and implement your solutions in them because they are actually pre-optimized solutions. But what if you have to create your own solution? Interviewers would not see that you are actually using a library in Python, although that's good application usage, but you still have to show them that you are prepared for making such algorithms if need be. So this particular course is going to show you how you're going to actually learn about algorithms, how you're going to learn about the concepts, and then finally how you're going to implement them in a particular language like C++. So thirdly, I have the grokking the coding interview, which are patterns for coding questions. All right, so this is the third course on my list. Now actually the description itself says coding interviews are getting harder every day. You cannot rely on sources which said that yes, data structures are not important and algorithms are not important and so on, because now interviewers want their developers, new developers, to be so sharp and so experienced that they test them in such concepts in the best manner, and they want you to actually reflect back the knowledge that you've studied in maybe your undergraduate career or maybe your experience in the professional industry. So this particular course, working the coding interviews, is going to help you learn patterns on coding questions. For example, let me show you. Well, for example, this pattern sliding window. So it has problems which are, as you can see, that they're not actually apparent on what problem it is, but the name itself suggests that maybe it's substring with same letters after replacement. So this suggests that maybe it is related to substrings and strings and how you have to replace a particular part of them in order to indicate or maybe play around and manipulate the string a bit. And now you have seen there are actually four problems here and their solutions as well. Thirdly, there are pointers. There's some problems for pointers, some patterns on fast and slow pointers. There's a discussion on them, some linked lists. I can see that this is actually a great data structure which we use regularly in our development sessions. Some merge intervals, some cyclic sorts. So basically, there are over, I think, right, 16 such patterns. All right, so there's actually more. There's a 17 pattern which is just added in for topological sort, a graph. And so these are some data structures which you can learn about in order to ace your coding interview. This is the best course that I have completed myself, and I have practically actually checked out how useful it is to learn the concepts which are dispersed by the author of this course. So this is probably it on the learning aspect of educative. So you see again, so this is some learning courses, some tracks, some espresso, and some more detailed courses onto some languages or maybe concepts like algorithms, data structures, coding interviews, patterns, and system design architecture, and so on. So now let's discuss the pricing of it. I see I have it open here, right? So I discussed that there are two particular account types in Educative. One is the free account, which I'm on right now, and which is actually quite restricted or limited in terms of the course usage. So I can only see some parts of the course. And secondly, it's the Educative Unlimited account. You get access to 145 plus courses, and you can use the tools in order to actually advance your career to the next level. So we can see that there are two types of plans. One is the annual plan and one is the monthly plan. If you actually use my affiliate ID, which I'll be actually mentioning in the description below, you'll get a 60% off for your particular country. I'm actually using a VPN right now, but let's say if I do use this promotion code, I can get a discount of over 60%, and the final price would be around $8.31, which is going to be billed annually at a total of $99, which is quite amazing if you take a look at it. It's nothing because you get 145 courses of varying degrees of difficulties. You have a regular access to them. You have access to the new content, and you can actually practice those playgrounds, have access to those code snippets and so on whenever you want. And secondly, it's the monthly plan. The monthly plan is available for $23, and you're going to build a $23 price every month. You also can get a 60% off discount on that. And this is 1 month of unlimited access, which you can have new courses in. And finally, course updates are actually also part of it. You can also give these courses to someone maybe your friend, maybe your colleague, or whoever you'd like to gift it to. You can see that the learners are actually working and actually employed at companies like Google, Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Uber. These are some of the biggest names in the software development industry. And that is what Educative is all about. So if you'd ask if Educative is worth your time, definitely. It is one of the greatest learning platforms on the internet right now, and you can quickly get started on it. Just pay once, and you can easily use the platform for maybe a month or maybe a year, depending on what type of subscription you've had. So that's it for this video today, guys. And do tell me down below in the comments if you have any personal favorite course on Educative, and maybe I'll give it a look and see if I should be taking that course as well. I'd love to check it out. So hit and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and do comment down below what you think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next video.